having my finger on the pulse of our constitution as I like to think I do, I'm going to go with saying that if I were a betting man, which I'm not, that the Queen would listen to the Prime Minister in this situation. And the reason I have come to that conclusion is the following. Of course, in such a predicament, the Queen not suspending Parliament on behalf of the Prime Minister would be an active act of refusal. It would be the Queen proactively saying no to a Prime Minister's request. It would immediately politicise her position, drag her into politics and out her as a Remainer. Whereas if the Queen did what she always does, which is just sign every bill and every request that comes to her, it's easier, though it's also a very difficult position for the Queen to be in, it's easier in that situation for the Queen to say, I haven't done anything differently. I have passively signed every single bill and request made to me by a Prime Minister since I became Queen all those years ago. And this is just more of the same. I am just signing this bill or signing this request. That's all I do. I just sign anything that comes before me and placed before me by the rightful Prime Minister of the day. And that happens to be the party leader that can command a majority in Parliament. It is not my business who that is. It's not my business how they got there. My job is to sign these pieces of paper. I think that's an easier sell for the Queen to claim she hasn't been politicised than it would be, and I suspect this is the advice she'd be given. And I kind of like to think, as I said, I have my finger on the pulse when it comes to the culture, politics and constitutional setup of this country. It would be an easier sell, and she'd probably be advised by Buckingham Palace advisors, than if she were to say one word to a Prime Minister, and that would be a word she hasn't uttered since she's been a monarch, and the word would be no. I think saying the opposite of what a Prime Minister requests of her, to say no in that situation, would be seen as activism, because it's changing something, it's doing something differently, so it's not a more of the same stance. So it would be seen as a proactive intervention. So in my analysis, I think Boris Johnson will become Prime Minister. I think Boris Johnson will keep not only no deal on the table, but also the idea of proroguing Parliament on the table. And I think if he did go there, as 67% of Conservative Party members believe it's acceptable for him to go there, if he did go there and suspend Parliament, I think the Queen would simply do what she's always done and just sign that piece of paper. Therefore, we'll end up with a situation that Boris Johnson will get us out of the European Union, whether or not Parliament supports him or not.